Hi guys, how are you? When?
In here.
In here? Okay, thank you.
Networking, guys. These photos and videos are going to be used for future marketing, for toolkits to share community.
Look at this room. I cannot believe hundreds of powerful women.
It's so cool.
It is so cool.
Takes me back to like my early days, in fact, my elementary school days in Canada when I was in 6th grade. And my math teacher gave us an assignment for extra credit when we were going into spring break. And you know, my competitive spark was a little bit there even in those early days. And myself and one of my little classmates, a little boy in class, we made a bet with each other on who could do more of the homework that we had gotten for this extra credit over our spring break and work through the assignment, the work through our textbook. So we came back from break and only two of us, myself and this little boy, had done every single lesson in the textbook. And the teacher brought us up in front of the class and I thought we were gonna get some accolades. I was expecting kind of a well done, a high five, a good job, you know, kids, something. To the boy, she did give him a well done. Then she turned to me, and what happened next impacted my confidence for a really long time. I didn't get a well done. She scolded me. She turned to me in front of our classmates and she said, "Wendy, no one likes a girl who's so ambitious." Woo! She did. I was 10 years old. And that may have been the first time I was scolded for being an ambitious woman, but it wasn't the last. For decades, ambition has been framed as a negative quality in women, a sharp edge that we somehow need to file down in order to be liked, to be a good team player, to be a good spouse. But let's be honest, that narrative is tired, and that narrative needs to be retired.
Woo! That
We are here today because we are a room full of leaders. We are a room full of innovators, of creators, of builders. We are a room full of ambitious women. Yes, you clap for that. And here's the truth. The way that ambitious women show up in the world is different, and it's something that we should celebrate. It's time to reframe ambition. Our ambition is not a flaw, it's a force. Ambitious women lead with ambition and kindness. Ambitious women lead with ambition and grace. Ambitious women lead with ambition and heart. Yes, we lead with a competitive spirit. Yes, we want to win. And that fire in our belly is nothing to be ashamed of. That competitive spirit that drives us is innovation. It's what breaks those glass ceilings. So to all of you who have ever been criticized for being ambitious or being made to feel like your drive makes you less of a mother, wife, sister, or friend, let that go. Give yourself permission to embrace ambition and fulfill your destiny. You owe it to yourself. The world needs what you have to offer. This is your moment. This is your time. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to give a huge thanks to the WIN board, the WIN leadership, and every single person who showed up this year to be part of WIN. We are doing something truly extraordinary. Each one of you is truly extraordinary. Go be ambitious. We are going to do tremendous things together. Have a wonderful event.
Wendy, we know that you have paved such a way for women in this industry, but for myself. And you're a woman who leads by example, not just for examples. A woman of leadership. She's just absolutely incredible. She means a lot to me. And I know she does y'all, and you better raise your hands and clap for her too, okay?
We are in good hands, Wendy, and you are our greatest fangirl as we learn about and ensure that there is no tall poppy syndroming happening here at eXp, and you all will learn more about that. So again, thank you. It is my honor to welcome another Horizon Builder to the stage, our first global ambassador. I first met Dunya in Barcelona at eXp Global, who was in eXp at the global event in Barcelona. And from that moment of meeting this powerhouse woman, it was clear that she was meant to be a bridge for win across the world, all the way from Dubai. Let's give a warm welcome to Dunya.
You guys can hear me? Wow. Thank you. Standing here today and honestly, as the first global ambassador for the Women Impact Network for eXp, I'm filled with gratitude, with a lot of pride, but also with purpose, because this isn't just a title. This is a responsibility. And looking at this room, I can see the size of that responsibility. When I started my career in the real estate industry in 2005, I was the exception. I was the minority. Why? Because I was the only woman in the room. But with each passing year, I have witnessed the change. I have felt the shift. And I took part of that shift. And today, this room is a huge testament of that shift. Because today, I'm not the only woman in the room. I am one of the women in this room. And I'm so proud of that. So from Dubai to Texas, from London to Japan, women are rewriting how leadership looks like for us in real estate. Because we are not waiting anymore for that table. No, we're not. Because we are building the table. Woo! And then we are inviting more women to sit, to speak, and to rise with us. As women, we navigate markets, moments of doubts, and motherhood. And we don't just share goals, we share grit. It's very hard for us what we do with everything else we have to do at the same time. So there's a little story I would like to share, talking of moments of doubt and motherhood and shuffling life. I think it's the green button, right? Those who were part of eXpCON Barcelona, I come from Dubai, from the Middle East. And there was a problem in the Middle East at that time. And I was worried it's going to get escalated. And I had to make a decision that morning that I should leave Dubai, come to Barcelona, because I had duties, I had work, I had responsibility. That's one picture, actually. I think AJ, the team, took of me. I was in the corner, sobbing on my own, because I made that decision to leave Dubai. And there's a risk of me being, not being able to go back to Dubai because of escalation. So I showed up for the job. I put my suit on. I went for the video recording and for the headshots and everything. But that's how I really felt as well. And then the team heard the situation. Everyone from leadership, from Leo right here, I would love to thank you, because it was really a huge step for me to see the support. That when it came to that, the whole team decided that I needed to leave to be with my family when things got escalated. And none of the leadership team had said, no, you have work to do. No, they said, leave, go to your family, we will take care of it. And I grabbed the cab and head to the airport. And I was announced that day the global ambassador, and I was in Dubai at the time. While I was feeling down and low, I was also participating still. I was that little screen that was me sitting back home, still participating in meetings back in Barcelona, because this tremendous team has made me feel nothing less than present, as if I was present with them. It didn't matter where I was in the world. So thank you to eXp. That's the dunya everyone knows, right? So for me, as a global ambassador, my mission is very simple. Is to connect women across borders, is to bring and create opportunities that empowers confidence and competence, and to celebrate those women who choose courage over comfort. But most of all, is to create a safe space for all of you to thrive by just being you. You don't have to change to become someone. And also, tonight we look at this beautiful horizon, and I love the idea. Let's remember that every story we share, every hand we lift, and every woman we mentor, we push that horizon just a little bit further. Because together we are the movement, together we are the tide that becomes, the ripple that becomes the tide, and together we win. So thank you so much for having me. The application for the global ambassadors is open, ready for you to scan it and join the movement, make the difference, and create more of these rooms all over the world. Thank you. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm here at eXp International Lounge. You're in eXpCON, or through my Instagram, Ask Dunya. Thank you.
Dunya is the epitome of one of my favorite quotes, that leadership is less about position and more about presence. And her being present in a time like that of need in their own life and showing up for business is exactly what eXp just reiterates into our life and business. And so I want to thank all of our ambassadors that have stood up and raised their hands. And those of you that don't know about our ambassador program yet, I'm happy to tell you, I'm the leader of our ambassador program. And as we are in North America right now and continue to expand globally, as we announce new countries that eXp is expanding into this week, which is very exciting, please know that we've got the best leaders in place to take you to the next level. If you want more in your life, if you want more in your business, if you want to give more, make more, do more, be more, the Women's Impact Network is made for you. And so when talking about a strong woman, you're going to know, I would love to introduce our next panel, starting with our moderator, who I don't even know if your driver's license says Ruth Lamb. It probably says age at 21. And so I would love to introduce Ruth Lamb, eXp's OG woman. Stand up and give her a huge greeting. eXp's agent, number 21.
Lauren just blew my bubble for me. Some of you know my name. I am Ruth Lamb. Some of you know my number. I am eXp agent number 21. But very few of you know what brought me there. So when asked to be a part of Unmuted, Women Who Speak Up, Shake Things Up, and Show Up, I thought what a perfect opportunity for me to share a snippet of my journey with you. See, in 2007, I was agent adjacent to a group involvement in cashback after close of escrow mortgage loan fraud, resulting in a lengthy federal prison sentence for one of them, and it wasn't me. I did question the legality of what they were doing early on, and I was quickly shot down and reminded that their fancy college degrees and a few years in the business far exceeded my 17 years in the real estate trenches. So I stayed quiet for an entire year as it ate away at me until I finally found the courage in January of 2008 to speak up, which quickly brought about meetings with the Department of Financial Institutions, the IRS, Fannie, Freddie, HUD, and yes, 3 lengthy in-person meetings with the FBI. Shake things up I did. All as the real estate market was crashing. And I lost everything except for my freedom and my integrity.
Wow.
But the depression was real. And the real estate transactions were few and far between. So it was during that time that I decided to look to see what else might be out there. And I answered a Craigslist ad. We're starting a new brokerage for the agents by the agents. Would you like to know more? And with that, I became a part of Iron Tours. If you know the name, you know. And a year later, eXp Realty was launched. They say your biggest opportunities for growth are just on the other side of your most uncomfortable. I'm here to tell you that those 4 years from the time I spoke up until sentencing in 2012 were some of the most difficult times of my life. And it changed me. For obvious reasons, I did not want a lot of people to know where I was at or what I was doing. So I reverted into my safe little protective cocoon where I remained for far too long. But I've been emerging from that person that I was conditioned to be into this person that I am meant to be. I'm extremely grateful to several people in this room and within this great company for your encouragement, your support, your community, and your proximity. See, proximity is power.
Yes, it is.
And there are still places that I want to go, rooms I want to be in, and things that I want to achieve. Recent events in my home state of Arizona, in my backyard of Scottsdale, reminded me that being eXp agent number 21 alone does not merit an invitation into those spaces. So, welcome to my show up era, because I'm coming for you. I'm honored to be on this stage with these three remarkable ladies, each with very impactful journeys of their own. And without further ado, the beautiful Melissa.
Thank you so much. Hello, Miami. You're probably not all from here, but I'm very happy to see you. As Ruth said, my name is Melissa, and I am here to tell you the story about how I became everyone's favorite party guest. So I've had this title for a little over 10 years now. It was 10 years ago in September, this past September, that my second oldest son, Nate, lost his life in a car accident. Yes. Nate was very special. He had an amazing future ahead of him. He filled the room with his presence. And in the blink of an eye, he was gone. My life changed forever that day. In fact, at the time, it seemed to stand still. I had never experienced this immense grief before. It was only matched by the anger that I would feel. I have learned that the grief never leaves, but some days it's a little easier to breathe. At the time of Nate's accident, I was working as a surgical assistant at a university where I live. And real estate had always been in the back of my mind. You see, I had my real estate license in the early 90s, but I had 4 children at the age of 6 and under. So as you can all guess, that did not work well with the schedule of an agent. So in 2022, I became licensed again for the second time. Life was really good at the time. My oldest son, Luke, had married his wife, Allie. They welcomed their first baby, sweet Sophia, in May of 2023. My daughter had also married that year. She had married the love of her life, Javier. And then my youngest son, Seth, was thriving, building his career in HVAC. But, there's always the but. But, on Valentine's Day, the day of love, shortly after Luke and Allie had left for work, I was babysitting, holding my 9-month-old sweet Sophia. 2 state troopers came knocking at my door. They came knocking at my door to bring me news that I did not want to hear. And as a matter of fact, I told them to leave. They were there to let me know that my oldest son, Luke, had been in a fatal car accident on his way to work when another driver crossed the yellow line. They had fallen asleep, hit him head on. My son Luke was 29 years old.
You can do this.
Thank you.
Woo! Yeah.
So by now you're starting to realize why obviously I'm everybody's favorite party guest. They love to see me coming. Yes. So I could stand here and talk for hours about my boys. I could tell you all these wonderful things about them. I could stand here and talk for hours about how angry I am some days. I could stand here and talk for hours about how there are days that I have no desire to get out of bed. None. But what I really want you to take from this today is not just a story of sadness, but a story of hope. And it will be a story of triumph. The weeks following Luke's accident were a blur. And as everybody in this room knows, life does not stop. They don't wait on you. I had a listing that needed to go on the market. My husband and I were in the middle of buying one home, selling another. I had multiple other things going on. Oh, the other fun fact is my brokerage had sold to another brokerage while all of this was happening. So all of my office pals were like going every which way. I knew at that point that this was the time. This was the time that I needed to stand up, I needed to speak up, and I needed to ask for help. So I did. I had a friend step in and represent my husband and I on both sides of the transaction. I had another group of friends that went to the house that needed to go on the market, clean it, get it ready. I never said no to dropping off dinner. I was like, yes, please. Keep them coming. That was great. So the thing that I've learned through this at this point is grief is very tricky. It's very tricky. But something about it is we are all going to experience grief at some point or another, in some form or another. So why is it so difficult for us to discuss and share? See, my grief brain is happening like in my nose. I personally have decided I've taken to TikTok, Instagram, podcasts, local news stations, and magazines. I've organized events. I've rallied other grieving parents. I share posts about what I go through every day. One post that I made was basically a follow me through my day post. I go to Chick-fil-A, grab some lunch. I go over to meet my pregnant daughter, hang out with her. I'm doing the laundry, right? We all have to do the laundry even though we don't want to. But then ends with me crying, alone, in the dark, by myself. That was my day. So after this particular post, it occurred to me how speaking up about my story validates what other grieving parents feel and also do on a regular basis. And it also teaches our friends and loved ones how to treat others who are grieving. For example, about 6 weeks after Luke's passing, a very good friend of mine had invited my husband and I to her birthday dinner with her family. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. But we decided to go. After dinner, I actually sent her a text message that said, your family did really well tonight. And she responded with, well, I sent a group message out to the family. And I said, Mark and Missy are joining us for dinner tonight. Here's some things you may want to remember. Give them a hug and say, I've been thinking about you. Maybe just squeeze their hand a little tighter. Maybe share a favorite story of one of her boys, if you know one. My point to this is that we are all human. Sometimes in this real estate world, we work so hard to make it seem like we do not have a life outside of real estate. We put on a real good show for our clients, not only our clients, but other agents as well. And I'm here to tell you, it's okay for you to stop, share your story. because you never know how that may help someone else. So I'd like to leave you with these two things as I wrap this up. One, speak up and share your story. It matters. Speak up when you need help. You will be shocked at how many people are willing to help. And the last thing that I would like to say is, I know I have other grieving parents in this room. And I just want you to know that I see you, I feel you, and my heart is with yours. Thank you so much for listening. Well, it gives me great pleasure. Soccer. I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Hello.
My name is Soccer Chapman Thomas. My first name is pronounced soccer like the soccer ball. Everybody calls me Socar, Socorro, Sacara, todas cosas, okay? Because it sounds like lo mismo que socorro, which is the same as socorro, right? In Spanish, but it's not. Soccer. I'm named after Sacagawea, who was the, yes, my dad was a history nerd. I'm named after Sacagawea, who was the Indian Native American guide for the Lewis and Clark expedition in 1803. Her husband, Toussaint Charbonnet, he was a French trapper, and he was hired by the Lewis and Clark expedition to help survey the land from Louisiana all the way to the West Coast. I always tell everybody that Sacagawea was the first buyer's agent because she showed property from Louisiana all the way to the West Coast. But she didn't have to get a buyer's rep sign because it was way back in 1803. So I was raised by a father who's an engineer and a mother who was a school teacher, and I have 4 siblings. So there was a family of 7. So you have an older brother and then 3 girls in the middle, and I'm in the middle, and then you have a younger sister and a younger brother. And so I grew up in Houston, Texas. And yeah, baby, Texas in the house. Okay, so I was taught in Houston, Texas. I was raised by these very amazing people. And in Texas, we learn a lot of stuff. And one of the things I learned how to do is to change oil, change tires, go hunting and fishing, shoot a gun. That's Texas and Florida too. But I was taught how to be independent. My dad used to tell us that when you get married, you will get married because you want to, not because you have to. So I guess he was a feminist before it was so cool. And so I was like, okay, then when I get married, then it's because I want to get married. And my parents were very active politically. So they were always campaigning and out on the trail and doing all of these things. And at the ripe old age of 6 years old, I wish I had a picture. I was holding up a sign going, vote for this person. Because I was a little kid, my parents took us, so we were holding up the signs. So the reason I share that with you is because I've taken that upbringing of being politically active into my life as a realtor. So fast forward to my leadership trek through real estate. I started getting involved at the Austin Board of Realtors within the first year of me becoming a realtor. My broker said, now that you're a realtor, get involved. And I was like, what do I do? And he said, go to the board and volunteer. So I was like, I want to do something. And they said, what do you want to do? Political stuff. They said government affairs. So I went to government affairs and I started in government affairs and I did all of the things locally and I shared it and then I became a trustee and a director. And then after my first 3 years as a director at the Austin Board of Realtors, I decided, well, I think I want to be the head of it. So I think I'm just going to put my name in the hat. So I was like, I can be the secretary treasurer. I want to do it. So I interviewed. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to be the chairman of the board. And they were like, no, you're not. I was like, wait a minute. The nominating committee chose the older male volunteers. And I was like, then forget y'all. If y'all don't want me, I don't want you. I'm not going to waste my time at the Austin Board of Realtors. Forget you. I don't want you going to want to do it now, so forget it. And my husband said, I will. He is the best man in the world. He said, I will support whatever decision you make. And I was like, yeah, because I don't want to do it anyway. And my godfather, Robert, was like, are you sure you don't want to do it? I was like, I'm sure I don't want to do it. They don't want me. They can have it. I don't want it. And he was like, okay, just sleep on it. I was like, it's going to be the same answer tomorrow. So don't worry about it. So I went to sleep. And I was like, wait a minute. You're not going to tell me that I'm not good enough to be the chairman of the Austin Board of Realtors. I'm a much stronger candidate. I'm going to fight for this. So this is what I did. I woke up that morning and I was like, wait a minute now. What's going to happen? So I pulled out my bylaws, and the bylaws stated, I read them, okay? Read your bylaws. That's the first thing you do. The bylaws stated if you didn't like what the nominating committee said, you could challenge. You could force a membership vote. And at the time, there only needed to be 25 signatures. So I'm raised as an engineer, and I don't trust the system. So I got 125. I ain't telling you no twice, okay? So I waited until 2 hours before the deadline was over. I sent the petition via fax, that was back then, via fax, email, and I delivered it via courier. Because I was like, you're not going to say you didn't get it either. So once my petition was submitted, my godfather Robert started getting all of these questions. Robert, why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? Why doesn't she just wait her turn? Oh, don't tell me that. Why didn't she just wait her turn? And Robert said, dagnammit, I didn't cuss. In here is cuss words, but I said no. Because he's sitting right there. So dagnammit, she can read. She read the bylaws. She's a member. She can get 25 people. She got 5 times that amount. Let her go through the process. And I was okay if the membership had said soccer, wait your turn. I would have at least said the membership said wait your turn. But guess what? I am married to a graphic designer. And he said, we're going to have us a campaign. So I had a slogan. I had signs. I had all of the things. I called Keller Williams, Remax, Coldwell Banker, individual agents. Because of my upbringing politically, I shook hands and kissed babies. And I'll kiss your 4-month-old if you bring them here. I'll kiss them, right? I was like, hey, I'm an agent. I wasn't a broker at the time. I'm an agent like you. I want to be I want to be your chairman. I want your vote. I asked for the vote. And once it was counted, I won 10-1. So I am honored to let you know that in 2008, I became the first African American chairman of the Austin Board of Directors. That wouldn't have happened if I hadn't shaken things up, if I hadn't challenged the status quo, because they told me to wait your turn. You don't tell a woman to wait. She'll wait if she decides to wait. Okay? I ain't gonna wait unless I decide it's my time to wait. And so on a side note, my opponent, the older gentleman, his name is Jay. I said, Jay, look, I won this time fair and square, but we're gonna have to work on your presentations. We're gonna have to work on your speaking skills, and we're gonna have to work on your image. So my same graphic designer husband designed a campaign for him, a slogan, buttons, and it all. And in 2009, Jay became the first Asian Indian chairman of the Austin Board of Realty. And we help each other. We don't just kick people out and just go do it on your own. So my message to you is this: shake things up. Challenge the status quo. You wait when you want to wait. You don't let somebody tell you to wait. All right? Well-behaved women. Eleanor Roosevelt is credited for saying this. I don't know if she actually did or not, but well-behaved women rarely make history. So it's your job to make history. You shake things up. You challenge the status quo. Thank you. And now I'm introducing my favorite redhead, Mary Snyder.
I'm thinking, it's on. Okay. Hey there. So I have a microphone because they told me if they gave me a lapel, I would just start yelling at you guys. So they're like, that's not good. We don't want to give that to her. So real quick, this is probably one of the coolest things in my life today, to be up here. So if you guys cool, can we take a selfie really quick? A selfie? Yeah, is that cool? Okay. All right. Here we go. There's not gonna be that many people, but it's fun. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So I'm Mary Snyder. I'm in Houston, Texas. I run a team with my husband. It's my team, but you know, I let him run it with me. I have only been a realtor for 5 years. And I am also a 5-time Icon agent. And that is really cool and really positive because I really shouldn't be here. And I don't mean that because I don't deserve it. I mean that because I grew up being told that I would not have anything, that I would not get anything. In June of 2022, my husband and I came home from eXp shareholders. And my mom had been at our house dog sitting, and she was watching our house. And we had got home and settled in and went to bed that night. And as we went to bed, I rolled over, and on my nightstand was my mom's drug paraphernalia. And I was immediately rebroken because she had told me originally that she was clean, that she had stopped using. My mom has struggled with addiction as long as I can remember. But she told me that she had stopped doing that, so why was it on my nightstand in my home? My husband is a recovered addict, and so I'm very protective of him and of that. And for us to come home and find that with that amount of disrespect was just unbelievable. So after a conversation with my husband, we decided that it was probably some time that we took a step back from my parents. So I sent a text message, a group text message to my dad and my mom and my husband because I wanted to have a transparent conversation. And I said to them, hey, this is what we found. This is what I found on my nightstand, which means that she was doing the drugs in my bed. And I said, we're going to take a break and we're going to take a step back. I don't know how long this break's going to be, but we need some space. My dad spent about 2 seconds and texted back. And he told me that I was very disrespectful, that I had no idea what I was talking about, and that I didn't know anything about life. I am the first person of my entire family to own a home. My husband and I make very good together, and we are very blessed. I should not be up here for so many reasons, but most because of what I've been told, because of what my mom who I don't even call my mom anymore. When I talk to people, I use her name. And I don't even even know what to say sometimes, because it's insane to me that I'm in a room full of this many people. And when they told us how many people would be, I think I told them I was going to vomit a little bit. I asked for a couple of buckets and they were like, no, you're not getting any buckets. When I show up, what it means to me is that I'm still here, that I show up for my clients, that they see that you can buy a house regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of who you are and what that looks like. And we specialize in a lot of first-time home buyers. We worked really hard to buy our first house. And I have so many clients who are like, well, this lender told me I'd never buy a house. Okay, well, let me give you a different one who's going to show you that you can, because that's not true. I have one client right now who's African-American, and she's like, well, this guy was mean to me. And I was like, oh, well, that's weird. No reason. She's qualified. But he didn't even want to give her the time because it was a little bit of a harder case. Your trauma does not define you. Woo! Who you are and what happened to you does not mean anything. Amen. You can be who you are and be successful, and you can bring every barrier that anybody's ever told you that you can't have. Amen. Sorry, this is crazy for me. I'm just having such a hard time. I don't know how I'm here. I honestly don't know. We talked about it. I'm not sure who put my name in the hat, but I tell my husband pretty regularly that this was something I always dreamed about. I never expected my past and my trauma to coincide with my real estate. I never expected to be on a stage talking about being the only one in my family who has success, who has a home. I don't speak to anyone in my family at all. I only have my husband's family, who are my rock. And I do everything I can to show people that your past doesn't have to define you, that you can stand up and speak your truth and say your voice, and that's all that matters. So if you take anything from me today, know this. Your voice is your weapon. Your story is your power. And your presence, even if it shakes you, does not define your trauma. So keep showing up for the girl that you were, the woman you're becoming, and the one still waiting for permission to do the same. Thank you.
So I just want to say in closing that the four of us are prime examples that you never truly know what somebody is going through. And that I encourage everybody in this room to move through life with a little more compassion, peace, grace, and understanding, and help make our world a better place.
Amen.
Now I'd like to bring up in Lolly and her amazing ladies for a wealth of knowledge with the power of paychecks and profit.
All right, welcome to Power, Paychecks, and Profit, Rewriting the Money Rules. We only have 20 minutes and we are not going to waste a single one of them. This panel is going to be real, raw, and about just one thing. Shifting how you think about money so you leave here differently than when you walked in. Woo. Yeah. So in the interest of time, we're going to skip over the usual bios, and you're going to learn about our panelists by me asking them personal questions about money. So to kick things off, I'd love to hear from each of you. What is the first money memory that shaped you, good or bad? Beth, you want to jump in?
I will. Thanks, Kim. I grew up fairly affluent, and my parents divorced when I was young. And I learned very quickly that he who held the money held the power. And I was taught that money can solve any problem if you throw enough in it. But I understood that money couldn't take the place of being present. And it took me about 4 decades to really understand that money can open a lot of doors, but it's only love that keeps someone inside the room.
Amen. How about you, Holly?
So a very vivid memory of mine was I was just finishing up my first year in real estate, and things were rocking and rolling. I had just closed the biggest deal that I ever had in my career. And then the end of the year came, and I met my accountant, and I got hit with that big tax bill. I'm sure everybody out here has. And then I looked into my my bank account, and it just didn't jive, the two of them together. And I quickly remembered, and I quickly realized that income and wealth are two different things.
Yeah.
How about you?
My first memory of money goes back to my first days in journalism. Back in Toronto, I'm from Canada as well, Bundy, and mine was asking for my first big raise. I don't know how many women here are afraid about negotiating salaries, talking about money with a boss, or even going into an interview talking about that. That was my biggest thing. The biggest thing was that I knew I deserved a raise. I knew that there was money in the budget for the raise, but I was terrified. And working in media for a long time, it was one of my times that I just couldn't speak. But I went into that meeting and I was confident and I knew what I did to deserve that raise, and I got a $50,000 raise.
Awesome. So thinking about power, let's go there. Most women get into real estate or maybe any other industry that they're in, looking for flexibility and freedom. But the real power comes when we learn to manage and multiply and move our money with intention. So going back to you, Carrie Lee, what was the turning point when you realized you needed to think differently about money?
I would say probably about 6 months ago when I left my marriage.
Wow.
I was in a marriage for 22 years and we have 2 amazing boys, but I knew I had to leave that marriage because he was financially abusing me. So even though I have a very successful career, and I have for many, many years, I've worked in publishing and media for 30 years, and I made decent money and I did well for myself. But I still had to run by him every single thing I ever purchased, every credit card statement, and everything. So I decided to leave that marriage. And that was a real turning point for me just recently, because I knew that I wanted to be an example for other girls, for my niece, that you should not stay in something like that. And also the fact that women do deserve, if we make our money, we need to be able to spend it the way we want, invest it the way we can, and also leave it for those that we love.
Wow. Thank you. What about you, Beth? What was the turning point for you?
I think it was when I realized I wasn't going to die from cancer. So at 26, cancer consumed my life, my body, and every dime that I had. And by 30, I had drained my savings, my money market, my 401k, and I amassed over $200,000 in debt. I had some lingering student loans, medical debt, and the cost of living like I was dying. I summited Mount Hood, I traversed the Canadian Rockies, I rappelled off skyscrapers, and then one day I thought, maybe my life isn't going to be cut short. Unlike so many of my friends I had buried to the same disease, maybe I was going to live. And that realization hit me very hard because suddenly I was faced with the consequences of living. And the weight of that debt was heavier than my disease. And that was when I knew I needed a plan that required massive action to get out of debt and prepare for longevity and preservation.
Woo! Wow. Thank you. I know your story and still just wild to hear. So still thinking about mindset, there's so many of these beliefs, and I guess what would be, Holly, I'm gonna go to you. What would be the biggest limiting belief that you see women in business have around money, and what do we do about it?
Well, one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I see with other women is I always hear them say, I don't know my numbers. I don't know how to manage money. And it's so easy for women that I see more than men, they hand over their finances and let somebody else take care of their business. They don't know their numbers. We're not taught to run ourselves like a business and to set up an LLC. We come into real estate, and like myself, and I could make a lot of money, but nobody taught me that I need to be a business. I am the business, and I need to run it like a business. So that was one of the biggest things, because we do know numbers, we do know money, and we can run a business just as well as a man.
Absolutely. Yes. What about you, Carrie? Like, you talk to so many women, so many people in business. What are the limiting beliefs you see?
One of the biggest things I think with women in particular, and myself included, is shame. right? If we make a good living for ourselves, or if we get that promotion or we get that raise, like I mentioned, it's shame, like, do we feel like you really deserve it? And I think that's where the imposter syndrome comes in quite a bit around money. You know, do we deserve to have this? You know, do we feel like we look greedy or materialistic if we are able to showcase what we've earned and what we rightfully deserve? So I think one of the biggest limiting beliefs is that it's that women don't deserve to make as much money as potentially all of us do, or we don't also have the basically be given the permission to go after what we want to make and make it a priority for us because it looks like we're selfish.
Now, we're trying to change that in this room, right? So let's shift from mindset to money in action. So paychecks are what most agents are focused on, but profit is what really creates freedom. So let's break that down. And Beth, I'm going to come to you because you're a great example. You've built wealth as an investor, not just an agent. And, you know, knowing that so many agents stop at income, why is that? And how do we help people move past being an agent, being an employee, and instead become an investor?
I think so many people stop at income because they don't know how to make their money compound, right? Realtors live in a scarcity mindset. Even the top producers who are stacking commission checks in the bank, they're afraid to make money moves because, let's face it, the market is cyclical. Maybe next year you'll wake up and you won't be on top. Maybe next year you'll wake up like me. I'm 48, perimenopausal, and I'm too tired to keep transacting at this pace. The truth is, you guys, retirement does not exist in real estate unless you reverse engineer it. You need to build a financial plan that will allow you to stop working, and that means generating multiple streams of revenue that will pay you when you are not selling houses, from revenue share to selling digital assets, and most importantly, owning income property. The benefit of just one house, one, from tax depreciation, deferment, to cash flow, to the long-term equity that will allow you to ease into retirement. This is the safety net that agents are missing. Your GCI is merely a means to an end, and watching that money stack up in the bank ain't gonna keep you safe. But building long-term wealth, slow and strategic, that will.
Yes.
Now, Holly, for you as a coach, as a top producer, how do you help your agents not only make more, but keep it and grow it?
Well, what I do with my agents when I start to coach with them, I want to sit down, let's get a plan. And like I said, first, open yourself an LLC, run yourself like a business, get everything in order, and you need more than just commissions in your life. Like Beth said, you need residual incomes, you need different incomes, you need to own properties, you need to have other incomes when you can't sell houses. You want to be able to retire and set yourself up. Get a good accountant. Know your numbers. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. I talk to so many women and so many agents that I coach, and I ask them what their numbers are, what their GCI, and they don't know them. That's the first thing that you need to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, breaking them all down, right? So, Carrie Lee, at Success, you have talked to so many, financially successful entrepreneurs, and you're seeing what they do differently. So what are those habits? What are those patterns that you're seeing financially successful people do?
I'm very fortunate, right, to be a journalist and to interview people and find out their life stories for a living. Very, very fortunate. I love what I do. And one of the biggest trends that I find in speaking to people about money, we actually released a money issue last year based around the release of Tony Robbins' new book. He was on the cover. And one of the things that I find across the board is that those who are successful, who have gone from rags to riches or struggles to strengths, those are the kind of stories that really, really tug at the heartstrings, but also have the best learnings. And I was very fortunate to interview Tony Robbins. I've interviewed quite a few celebrities and thought leaders on the topic. And I remember sitting in his house, we were doing the cover shoot, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm interviewing Tony Robbins, and he's one of the most successful thought leaders out there, and he talks about money all the time. How am I going to get, the real gist of that story out there? And I asked him, I said, where did you begin? And he took me right back to his childhood. And from a man that comes from very humble beginnings, he had some extremely, really insightful advice about money. And he said, time and market beats timing of the market. So basically, yeah. So basically, he was saying, very similar to what you're saying, about the multiple streams of income is very important for any investor or any person in business, especially women, but also the compounding exactly. I also have a really good memory of Damon John, and I interviewed him here in Miami, actually, in his condo. And the first thing he did was, when I walked into his condo for the photo shoot, was say, "Congratulations on your success, Carrie, but I'm going to tell you how you could be more successful. And if you listen to me, you might make it on the Shark Tank." And I didn't make it on the Shark Tank, but one of the biggest things for him is he actually teaches children about financial literacy as well. I don't know if you knew that. He's written children's books, and he actually goes around and does that. And he told me that one of the biggest things we can do with our children or those younger in the community is start teaching them about how important it is to look after their money, especially young girls, because we don't get that kind of advice from our parents usually when we're growing up. So those two remarkable men have taught me a lot about money, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to have those interactions.
Yeah, fantastic. I could listen to you talk about those stories all day long, I think, right? Like just a whole separate panel. Okay, so I want to get really tactical for everyone in this room. So we're going to do a lightning round. We are doing pretty darn great on time. So we've got about 4 minutes for our lightning round. I think we can get through a lot here. Let's just jump in. So to spill the tea a little bit, I'll start down there again, Carrie Lee. What is the biggest mistake you've ever made with money, and what did you learn from it?
Get married? No, I'm kidding. I had an amazing marriage. No, my biggest mistake was probably cashing all my investments to buy my first home post-divorce, because I knew that I would rather have freedom. So I don't know if that's a mistake. It was probably a good thing, but now I'm starting at zero again. That's probably one of the biggest things for me.
Fair. Okay. Anyone else want to jump in on a big mistake?
Well, one of the big, I don't know if it's a big mistake, but I grew up in a family where you were taught to you shouldn't have any debt. You should pay cash for everything, not leverage any money. So we paid cash for our cars, our houses, everything, and didn't have any debt. But we didn't have big investments. We didn't have a big portfolio. So it took me a lot longer to catch up once I switched my mindset.
Wow, okay. And that kind of goes back to the first question, right? About like the first money memory that shaped you, right? Can I screw this up? Yeah. No.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. All right. I'll just yell. We're all good. This might be my favorite question. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine. Yeah. This might be my favorite question, actually, of the whole day, and I'm going to come to Beth anyway, so thank you for doing that. What is one money move that everyone in this room should make this year to change their financial future?
Buy a house. If you cannot afford to buy a house in the market you live in, find a market that you can afford and hire someone to operate it for you. Put it on your vision board. 2026 is the year we turn vision into victory. Woo! Buy a house.
Let's talk about a connection hour, right? All right, any other money moves? Anyone want to jump in on that? We good?
Yeah, I'll just say, especially working in the professional development world for Success Magazine, I would say invest in yourself, right? Invest in your professional and personal development. Invest in your self-care, right? Because, if we're healthy, then we're going to be healthy for others, not only our clients, but our family, but our kids. Take from me, I had a heart attack at age 39, so I know at the top of my media career in Toronto, and I know exactly what happens when you don't invest in yourself. So you can scale your business, you can also learn to, go up through the ebbs and flows in your life, and I think that's what's going to help anyone get through those things.
Yeah, okay. So Holly, I'm going to lightning round you. Yeah, sorry, we'll pass it. If you could write one new money rule for women in business, what would it be?
My new money rule would be to invest in yourself and leverage the money that you do have. So make sure that you are not just spending all of your money, and don't work so hard for just commission checks. Make sure that you have residual incomes coming in and not just the commission check.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to take that?
talk about it. Like, money is so taboo, especially amongst women, and that's insane. It should, and we're not doing this to compare. We're doing this to just mind map it out and leverage each other's wisdom and knowledge and just talk about it. This is not a taboo topic. We need to know how each other is succeeding and winning.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I would say be smart about your money, right? Money in, money out. You need to know your numbers, whether you're in real estate, when you're an entrepreneur, whether you work for a corporate setting. Know what you have because it will get you through the rest of your life. And one more thing, don't ever feel guilty about what you bring in. And let's celebrate our wins.
Yes, our win. Awesome. All right. So there's some really great things here, right? With investing, with knowing our numbers, with celebrating our wins. So we're going to tie it all together. Final question for each of you. If you can give everyone in this room, all nearly 600 of us, I think, who are here, one money rule to stop following and one money rule to start following. What are we doing?
Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses and the Kardashians. Like, an expensive car or jewelry or whatever that does not ever feel as powerful as owning real estate. So skip the bag and buy the building. Money doesn't create structure, and you need structure for freedom.
I would say don't co-sign or lend money to anyone if you can't afford to lose that money. Remember that. And the other thing is, again, I'm going to say it again, but celebrate your wins. Everybody celebrate your wins.
Woo! We're going to normalize the conversation. Right? Yeah. All right. So, money is not just about survival. It's not even just about success. It's about power, choices, freedom, legacy. You're hearing all of that on repeat up here today. So you've heard from 3 incredible panelists, and now it's up to you to take action. So let's stop living small, playing small with our money, and make big money moves together. So we look forward to continuing this conversation with all of you at Connection Hour and beyond. Thank you guys all very much for being here today. And thank you to our amazing panel. It was really amazing working with you. Thank you.
So at the Women's Impact Network, we talk a lot about building leadership from the inside out. The courage to innovate and to redefine success on your own terms. And our keynote speaker this evening embodies all of that. She is a serial entrepreneur, investor, and visionary whose work bridges technology, real estate, and leadership. She co-founded Remind, a company that redefined how 1 million realtors connect with data. I know we use it, we still at the Austin Board of Realtors, and we're a big part of it. She's also inspiring the next generation of founders at the Global Real Estate Information Database Consortium. That's a phrase right there. And she is guiding and helping entrepreneurs, especially women, through the venture mentoring team, and helping inspire these women and leaders to rise and build companies that change the world. The Women's Impact Network is so grateful that she is gracing our stage tonight. So please give a warm welcome to award-winning entrepreneur and tech innovator Ariana Pareja.
In the meantime, while we're dealing with technology, let me pivot in this moment. It's 5 o'clock, 5:30? It's been a long day. This is like amazing week ahead. Can everyone just stand up and just let's get some blood flowing? Okay, first of all, pick number 6. 8, 6, pick any. Just pick a number, any number. Does that work? All right, guys. Thank you. And an even bigger thank you to Jill. Jill, don't run off now. Thank you so much for having me here. I am honored. You guys can all sit back down. No, get back up. No, I'm just kidding. So today we're going to talk about giving yourselves the permission to pivot. Okay? And before I go into that, we have another. There we go. before I go into that, I want to share a fun case study with you guys. You all came in from different places, probably flew in. How many of you flew in? Woo! Oh, that's a lot of people. Okay, how many people used Clear? Because I'm a huge fan of Clear. Clear, let me tell you about Clear. This is a great case study. Clear was actually founded out of their headquarters in Manhattan in 2012. By 2021, they went public. They just opened up their 57th airport location in Maui. They have a market cap of $2.6 billion with an annualized revenue of $610 million. Pretty impressive, right? Now, here's the part of the story that you don't know and you probably never heard of. Clear was actually founded in 2003 by two guys who are so irrelevant because they didn't pivot fast enough that I couldn't even find a photo of them to put in the slide deck. And there's good reason for that. And let me explain to you what happened. See, they didn't understand that having a security-based company took more deep institutional buy-in. Had they just shifted to strategic partnerships instead of just relying on government contracts and TSA, they would have been here today. So what happened? In 2009, they ran out of money. And then about a year later, a very well-capitalized group out of New York came in, swooped in, and took their baby. They kept the same name. They kept the same business model. They even kept the same damn logo, guys. Dagger in the heart. And we hear this all the time. Visionary founders, visionary people who just, they don't pivot when there's writing on the wall. They don't recognize when it's time. Who here is wearing an Apple Watch? Stand up if you are wearing an Apple Watch. Okay. Now, next question. When you think of the smartwatch category, who invented it? Who was it? Who was it? Apple, Steve Jobs. Was it? No, actually it was this guy who's also irrelevant. Who you also don't recognize because he did not pivot fast enough. See, what happened was instead of licensing his lightweight OS to big companies like Apple and Garmin, he decided to double down on hardware and go head to head with these companies who, by the way, are publicly traded and like to print money just for fun. Okay? Had he just made that one small move, that one pivot, he'd still be here today. This guy was a freaking trailblazer. He created the entire smartwatch category. And in 2012, overnight, this guy raised $10 million on a crowdfunding platform. 68,000 backers, people like me and you, who saw his vision, saw his pitch, and said, holy moly, here's my money. And then he went on to raise venture capital, hundreds of millions of dollars, but didn't pivot when he was supposed to. Happens all the time. But you see, here's the thing, guys. Pivoting is a strength, not a weakness. But somewhere deep down inside in our core, somewhere down here, we just don't like change. And I'm a victim of this. I will prove this. Okay? I moved to Miami 5 years ago. And for the first 4 years, I used to hop on a plane and fly all the way back to DC just to get my hair cut. Ridiculous! All the women here are laughing because we've all been getting the same haircut and color for the last 3 years because we're terrified of change. And there's a good reason for that. Because when you have to make a powerful move, when you have to make a pivot, it requires courage. It requires confronting the unthinkable. Because sometimes you have to face public humiliation. Now I'll tell you a story. My last company, my husband and I, we knew that in order to survive, we would have to make the business model shift of going from direct to agent to enterprise model. But what would come with that is having to lay off 40 of our best salespeople, and obviously the scrutiny that comes with it as well. And I'll paint this picture for you. It's Friday morning, we walk into the office, we're in the conference room, and we have a list of our 200 employees. And we have to go down that list one by one and decide who's going to stay and who's going to have to pack up their things and go. Yeah, imagine. And then we have to go to the all hands meeting and convince the people that are staying Everything's going to be okay. You're still going to have your job. People that I personally recruited, people that I looked in their eye and I said, leave your corporate cushy job. Come join us on this unicorn. I'll take care of you. You think they had faith in us after that? No, not much. But had we not made that one move, had we not made that one decision that we had been putting off for months, we would have gone bankrupt that month. Who remembers this? Who's been selling real estate long enough to stand up, first of all, stand up. Who remembers that? Stand up. Everybody give these ladies a round of applause. Oh, yeah. Everybody give these ladies a round of applause. You ladies are my people. Okay? Now, what do you think happened to the agents back in the early 90s when the internet was coming out? What happened when someone went up to this agent and said, oh, you better get a website, you better get with it? And they said, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What happened to those agents?
They gone.
Where are they? No, they're at Compass. They're in the dark days with that Compass. They're not in this room. The point I'm trying to make is embrace technology. Okay? Because AI is rewriting the rules of business. Once upon a time, if you wanted to start a business, you would have to hire and do research development and figure out this and that and A/B test that. You can build, brand, test, sell a brand new company all before lunch. I'm serious. You can build a low code or no code website on Lovable. You can create an entire brand identity and 2 months worth of content on Canva and have it auto post for you, by the way. So use your Canva subscription. And you can use ChatGPT to A/B test your landing verbiage for your landing pages, your sales pages. You can build, brand, test, and sell. You can have a nurturing CRM like Follow Up Boss.
Yeah.
Create drip campaigns. All these things didn't exist 10 years ago. Okay? And now you all have this access at your fingertips. So the question is how the heck are you going to set yourself apart? How are you going to stay different than everybody else? Because guess what? Once upon a time, when I was on a stage like this 5 years ago, I used to say, data's the new currency, data's the new currency, data's the new currency. Data's no longer the new currency because we all had access to AI. We all had access to the same exact information. The playing field has been leveled out. So what's going to set you apart? Your influence, your AI fluency, your attention. Attention is the new currency. Okay? So keep in mind, how are you doing that? So here are 3 of my favorite tools. Everyone knows ChatGPT. If you don't know anything about ChatGPT, get up and leave because you don't belong here. You're in the wrong brokerage. Spiel on Compass. So listen, ChatGPT, one of my favorites, we all use it, but how are you using it? Are you using it to create scripts and dialogues? In video, this is one of my favorites, okay? So I recently launched a children's vitamin gummy that's coming to major retailers all across the United States and Canada. Thank you. And prior to meeting with one of my retailers, I decided, wouldn't it be really cool if I had a little mini commercial to put in the pitch deck? And so what did I do? I went to ChatGPT and I said, I have this vitamin gummy, here are all the benefits. Can you create a 30-second video for me? Create the script, put it in video. Boom. I had a high quality commercial in 5 minutes. This used to take thousands of dollars, times, energy, resources, actors, writers, producers, just like that. Opus Clips, another one of my favorites. If you are on a podcast, if you're doing a speaking format such like this, you can take the YouTube link, pop it into Opus Clip, and boom, you have 15 pieces of content ready to go. So with this vitamin gummy that I'm launching, I've been working with TikTok corporate, and during my onboarding call, they said, listen, just so you know, nowadays on this platform, if you want to be relevant, you need 50 pieces of content per month. That's 50. 50 pieces of content. I'm sorry, not per month, per week. Per week. Yeah, I know. That's the only downside with all this AI is everybody has access to it, so people are pumping out more content. The biggest brands, the biggest influencers are doing 250 pieces of content per week, you guys. So your one post a day ain't gonna cut it. You need opus clips. So here is ChatGPT. So here's the thing. People don't understand that there's different models of ChatGPT. Personally, if I'm using ChatGPT, I like to use 4.0 Legacy if I'm doing anything that's creative. So if you are, let's say you're trying to create persuasive storytelling content, use 4.0 model. If you are creating data reports, if you want to create a new system or process within your organization, then use ChatGPT 5. They're different, they vary, and one is more analytical and one's more creative. So that's a perfect example of an image that I created in ChatGPT 4. I did the same prompt in ChatGPT 5. Did it create a similar image? Sure, yes, but the one that ChatGPT 4 was more believable. It looked more like a human than just like an AI bot. Now, when it comes to making a big pivot, there's typically 3 areas that you want to focus on. Business model shifts. This is an obvious one, right? This is the one that we typically see first because our bank accounts, we can see it. We're not making as much money as we used to. So pay attention to the business model shifts of how you can shift. Adapting technology, we're already talking about that. That's an obvious one. And branding and networking. So here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand or realize that sometimes you don't need to change your business model. Sometimes you don't need to change your revenue model. Sometimes you need to change your own personal brand. I was at an event speaking a couple months back, and I was in the green room with who you may know, Maya Vander from Selling Sunset. And her and I were talking about reality TV. We were talking about personal branding. And she goes, I've been having a hard time. I was like, well, what is it? So she started venting. And she said, I've been having a very hard time of transferring my Selling Sunset persona to Selling Miami because she's no longer in California anymore. So it doesn't matter what point in your journey you are, even if you're a household name, if you're semi-famous, you will have to make a pivot in your personal brand, right? And then networking. Everyone comes to an event like this and you network and it's great and it's wonderful, but how much are you networking when you're online? When you log into your social media on an everyday basis, are you just self-promoting? Or are you actually taking the time to comment on someone's content? Are you taking the time to respond to messages? Are you taking the time to actually network and collab with other people? My best friend, Gina Tash, she's the co-founder of My Therapist Says, the fastest growing meme account. They have 8 million followers. Mindy Kaling herself follows her account. And I asked her, I put her aside, I said, Gina, what is the secret? How did you get 8 million followers? How are you doing all these brand deals? Like, spill it, girl, tell me. And she's like, it's that simple. I was like, what? She goes, people don't know how to act. I was like, agreed, but go on. And she's like, people don't understand how to communicate on social media. See, when you go and follow somebody, that's the equivalent of walking down a busy street in Manhattan and just be like, good morning, and just keep walking. Like, if you're going to follow somebody, follow them. Send them a little DM and say, hey, I followed you because I like your content. Or comment on their last couple posts. Tag them in a story. Actually take the moment to get to know them. Right? So you'd be surprised how a little bit goes a long way. Now, if your leads are dry enough, if you are losing buyer agents to the competitor down the street, if you are onboarding amazing people down your downline, but then all of a sudden you can't retain them, it's time for a change. It's time for a change. So, this is my 4-step framework that I like to use whenever I'm about to make a pivot. Well, number 1, assess your market. What is going on in your industry? Take a bigger outer look, a lens on what's going on in the industry. Are your buyer behaviors changing? Is your industry changing? Number 2, identify your unique advantage. What sets you apart? And then lean into that. Number 3, once you've decided what could set you apart and how you can make a pivot, get yourself an MVP. And I don't mean most valuable player. I mean a minimal viable product. Get yourself a proof of concept and execute. Don't have one foot in, one foot out. Here's the thing about us entrepreneurs. We get distracted, don't we? We see shiny lights over here, and then we A/B test this, and then we're like, oh, that worked out great for the first 15 days, but let me try it, but tweak it. No. You have a strategy, you do it for 30 days straight, and then execute. Go all in. So, I don't like to get woo-woo, because I'm not a woo-woo type of person. But, right now, there's how many people? 600 people? 600 people or so in this audience. I think that when you put this many powerful people in a room, magic can happen. So I want you all to close your eyes. Don't fall asleep. Take a deep breath in. What is one area of your business where you feel the most friction? Is your marketing outdated? Are leads drying up? Are you not using AI the way you should be using it? Is your pricing model not working? Do you need to fine-tune your recruitment and retainment? Deep breath in. Don't fall asleep. Feel it. What is that biggest piece of friction in your business or in your life? Maybe you just need to get rid of somebody or someone or someone's. Okay? The first thing that comes to your gut, that's probably what you need to pivot. Now, you can open your eyes. I want you all to think about this and take this home with you. How can you test a pivot in the next 30 days? I want you to test it out for the next 30 days. What's one move that you can make to relieve that friction that you felt when you closed your eyes? What's one thing that you can do in the next 30 days? Now, I'll tell you all this. Some pivots happen in private. Some pivots happen in public. But what is the greatest pivot of all time? Martha freaking Stewart! This woman redefined the way we think about home entertaining. She became the first self-made female billionaire. Woo! And then what happened?
Yeah, you see what they did to her. Yeah.
She went to a maximum security prison.
Yes, she did.
She went from Miss Homemaker to Miss Jailbait to this! To be the Sports Illustrated cover model at 81 years old! Woo! That is the power of reinvention! That is the power of a pivot! That's Martha Stewart, guys. She's the guilt we all want to be. Oh, no. I'm not even going to explain this because you guys already know. You already know. But you know what?
You're listening.
I think there's something that I think you guys can resonate with me on this one. Okay? I think that what do we do? What do we do as business owners? As women, as business owners, what do we do when we don't get what we want? What do we do? We cry. She's like, we cry. No. What do we do? What do we do when we don't get the results we want? We get up, we dust ourselves off, and what do?
We try again.
We work harder, don't we? We work harder. Why do we work harder? Because someone we love and trust along the way lied to us and said, oh, honey, if you just keep working harder, it's all going to work out for you. Well, whoever said that, bless their heart, because that is a lie. You need to make a pivot. The reason why we feel so stressed out and so overwhelmed and so defeated, maybe it's not because we need to work harder. Maybe it's because we need to give ourselves permission to pivot. So go on now, ladies. Make your next move. Make it count and give yourselves the permission to pivot.
Thank you. Wow. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Oh my goodness. I had a theater background, and while I was watching you, Miss Ariana, I was like, I think there's a TV show that I see. I want her on a reality TV show. We need more Ariana sort of leading these more pivots for all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much for the truth and the stories. So many powerful lessons this evening that I hope that you had some ahas this evening. We began this evening watching the horizon rise with all of us, and everything we've seen since, every voice, every story, every moment of truth that we heard, many of them, has lifted it higher and reminded us of who we already are. So,
I want you to remember that none of this happens alone. Like I mentioned earlier today, that we are stronger together. And something you'll often hear me say, if you ever come to hear me speak, is that people need people. Look at the people around you, listen to their stories. Don't have a squirrel mindset. Really focus and hear people and look at them in the eyes and listen to them. Because we have spent thousands of hours as the board of directors this year in our first inaugural year pouring into our eXp family. And you will always know when you leave here, you will always have a seat at our table. If you're here alone, if you're here as an explorer, eXp agent, eXp staff, you come and find us and you've got friends in us, okay?
yes, and to every ambassador and partner here tonight, Dunia, and to our girl dad and father eXp, Leah, we are so grateful that you recognize and realize that when you support and strengthen women, we all rise together, and we look forward to building and growing with you. So thank you for being here. And if you want to join the team and support, we've got our applications up here.
Yes, please scan these QR codes, guys. And so our ambassadors, you are a voice for what WIN is. And we open up these applications to this part of the year to accept you into our community, accept you into our club. And this is only our second year. I want you to know that we just accepted in 42 ambassadors last year. We easily expect to have over 200 applications this year. We would love for you to join us. We want you to become state leaders. We want you to have a voice. We want you to expand our community. We want to know your stories. You know Jill with her theater hands, her claps. I mean, this woman is made for production. Like, this is who we want you to be a part of. We want you to be able to learn with us and continue to grow.
We all want to lift everyone's voices up in each story as we go. So remember, we are building and authoring our next chapter together. So we need you connected, and that includes our Women's Impact Network socials and Slack. So post your favorite moments on socials tonight using WIN, Horizon, or eXp Women's Impact Network so we can share this energy with everyone.
And let's go ahead and keep this movement going all week. So take a picture of this slide and come join us, okay? So Tuesday, I'm going to be leading bright and early, guys. You want to get hyped for general session on Tuesday. It is early. Come to find us at the One eXp Takeover. I'm doing coffee and compliments. We have 3 compliment cards that you're going to be writing out a compliment and handing them out to people at random throughout the convention. And then we also have 11 to 15 to 12 o'clock. We've got some really big names for this Breaking Barriers breakout session. Log into your agenda. Log into the eXp Events app. Use that to your advantage. If you do not have the app downloaded, go ahead and take advantage of that. Add that onto your agenda. 8 a.m. we have a win by Capable. Capable is another one of our One eXp resource groups. And so they're doing a takeover for 20 minutes. Real, raw, authentic, and just powerful conversation right there. And then we're doing another lounge takeover.
Yeah, we're doing our first national at the table, which is our new initiative that we are spreading out regionally and locally. So we want to do our first live at the table with you so that we can arm you with the tool. And our very own Lynn Miller, our director of operations, has created a toolkit that we all can deliver to you so that you can go out and have these types of events in your region. So that's how we're going to cascade this out.
So now to introduce one of my favorites, we're bringing up on stage right now to discuss about the Connection Hour. Please meet Miss Christy Cook.
Christy, the Horizon stage is yours.
Wasn't that amazing? I know for me, last year, obviously with our first Women's Impact takeoff that we did, that was my first time. And if you guys came here by yourself tonight and took that step, can you raise your hand if you came by yourself? You're brave enough. So during this Connection Hour, give them all a round of applause because I'm from the Orlando, Florida area. I heard about the event. I jumped on a plane and showed up. So it's just a place for us to build this community, really love on each other. And like they were saying before, your story is your superpower. So I truly believe that, coming from very humble beginnings. And I hosted my first At the Table event, and it was incredible. Just women, we want to be in community, and we want to be able to lift each other up. And they're like, hey, can we do this every month? I was just trying to do it quarterly, but I was like, absolutely. So this was just a great time tonight. And for the Connection Hour, you'll be able to meet these fine panelists and the keynote speakers. So I'm super excited about that. And I want to introduce our preferred partner. Is Luke in here with American Home Warranty? No, he's not. Oh, okay. We have somebody else. But for the Connection Hour, I do want to say that it's just your time to connect, tell your story, meet other people in the room, and it's going to be a great time. Make sure you tag the Women's Impact Network on social media with all your videos and photos, and let's get this week going strong.
Hello, you spectacularly fabulous, exciting, ambitious women out there. Love the energy. Hi, guys. You too. I'm Michelle. I am with America's Preferred Home Warranty. I, too, am a 30-year licensee in real estate. I understand your pain. I know what you've been going through all these years. And trust me, I do feel it. But what I want to say, and a couple things that I've heard here from some of these spectacular women that have been up here talking and sharing experiences. I'm not here tonight to sell you warranty. That is not what we're about. We are truly about empowering you, supplying you with tools and services, and being present in your business to elevate your business to the next level. We don't want to be a partner or a vendor. That's just ugly words. We truly want to support you, and that's what it's about for us. Our company, America's Preferred Home Warranty, has 85% of women in leadership roles, understanding what it is that we go through every day. We are here to help you. So we are so proud to be here tonight, to sponsor this event, to sponsor eXpCON, and really, really get the word out there to help all of you elevate to that next level. So thank you for having us. We are at booth 700 inside the expo hall. Please come see us, say hello, and we'd love to chat with you. Thank you.
All right, so we have the amazing Jill over here. We just completed the Win Summit here at eXpCON 2025. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. You guys just watched the whole thing through. So Jill, tell us, what women struggle with and what they need to stop with.
Well, there's three things. What we discovered in our founding year of running a Women's Impact Initiative is that women battle with three things. Imposter syndrome, it's universal. It happens to everyone at every stage, every background, every step in their leadership journey. We allow doubts and fears to trip us up in our journey to showing up authentically and realizing our dreams. Two, we wait for invitations. We wait too long. We wait for permission, for perfection. We overthink, overplan, overwork. We micromanage, and we struggle to step in.
Right.
And we also, we have narratives and stories in our head that often prevent us from you know, living and speaking our truth. And tonight, I think the most impactful thing for me, always when women gather, hearing their authentic stories and their desire to share their stories so that they can reaffirm their worth. And the Women's Impact Network is all about ensuring that women feel seen,
Absolutely.
supported, and strengthened.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like we had a room of encouragement tonight.
Yep.
And you all gave us energy to keep fighting and moving and creating this movement, this horizon that we're creating.
Absolutely. So the most important story is yours. And we want to hear your story because, you know, I feel like us as women, especially if you're a mom, even if you're not a mom, right? Like what you said, the overthinking and the invitation, right? You create the party and invite us, right? To your party. And I just want to let you know that Jill and the team are doing so many amazing things for women. You know, we have all the women here. We have the allies. We have everyone on eXp also. You know, we're all in this together and we want to make sure that you feel like you're home. So thank you so much, Jill, for sharing.
Thank you. It was so wonderful to see you. You inspire me.
Oh, thank you.
And we are building a community together. So the first act that I always tell people in my fangirl code is go out and ask someone's story and have the courage to share your story.
Absolutely.
So thank you for helping people hear more stories.
Absolutely. That's my job. I want to hear your story. So I'm going to be around here at eXpCON and I want to hear what brought you to real estate. Because I'm sure as a little kid, you were not like, oh, I'm going to be a realtor when I grow up, right? So what led you to that path? I want to know. Jill wants to know. And I'm sure all of our agents wants to know your story because guess what? You're going to inspire someone. So I just want to say you both and everyone on the team did an incredible job on this summit. What is one takeaway you want the audience to take with them?
Well, we heard so many similarities and just like common threads that really wove everything together during our panels and all of our talks and conversations today. So it's really about creating community, and whether people are in this room here with us or not, like we just really want to join everyone together to share, whether that's in person, on Slack, in our masterminds, in local groups. We really just want to create a really strong community of women to support each other.
We are here. We are here for you. This was an amazing event. We have people from all over, women from all walks of life. It doesn't matter how big of an agent, how small of an agent you are. You just need to join this community and the friendship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to say, all you have to do is just raise your hand and join because you can do amazing things. You have probably an incredible story to share. You heard already the incredible stories that we shared here today. Just the struggle of being a woman sometimes, right? It's always not easy. So I'm going to put the QR code right here in this video and I want you to just fill it out, okay? Just do it and you'll be so glad you did.
Yeah.
All right? And, you know, give us a comment what you thought, what you want to hear and what you want and where you are. Let's see where all our women and even our allies are at. All right? So take care and we'll see you more in this conference.
Thank you.
Right. I'm here with the amazing Debbie. Oh my gosh, we just finished the WIN Summit. What was your most powerful takeaway from the summit?
Oh, well, it's so great to see you and thank you for the nice introduction. I think for me, what really is so impactful is that it's so true that women love to support each other and encourage each other and like lift each other up and be each other's cheerleaders. And I think that's the most important takeaway. It's like, let's get together, let's rise like the horizon and support each other.
Absolutely. I'm here with the amazing Ariana. She was the keynote speaker here at WIN Summit. And oh my gosh, she lit the stage on fire. As a mom, how do you juggle everything? You know, like us being so tired and trying to do things for our kids and run a business. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, look, I'm here to break it to you. There's no easy button to make it, seamless, but I'll say that delegate as much as you can. You have to earn that freedom of balance by delegation because there's only one of you and you've got so many things going on. You have to delegate. And maybe you're early on in your business. Maybe perhaps you're not at a place where you can hire an assistant yet. But what you could do is you can use technology to your advantage. Anything that's repetitive tasks, you should be using AI. If you're going to get groceries, just pay the $10 delivery fee and have it delivered to the house and order it from your phone while you're, in between meetings. Don't try to do everything all at once. And the other thing is just to learn to live with the chaos. there are going to be times where your nanny calls out sick or the kids are homesick and you have to take the kids with you to the appointment. It is what it is. It's 2025. We're all working mothers. It's okay. And don't be ashamed of that. It's just learn to live with the chaos. It's never going to be a slow moment. You're always going to be on the go. You're always going to do something. Today, you have your son here. I have my two kids here because it's a Sunday. Right. So you bring them with you.
Yes.
It's a family business.
Yes. And they have to learn, right? This is an educational experience for them. So don't let them sit on the sidelines and bring them to the front lines, right?
Exactly. It's the best education you can give your kids is to lead by example with hard work.
Absolutely. And we're so grateful to have you here. And we're so grateful for you to give all that, advice and everything. So get out of your head, go delegate, go get some time back for yourself and get some me time too. All right. So here I am with Ariana. This is Rizwana. We'll see you later.